disaster, but I've embarrassed myself before. And I'd like you guys to say this along with me, so I'm not standing up like a fool for myself. Because I'll have to learn. I want to see what kind of recollection you guys have. If you guys are ready, please join in when I start saying Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Earth, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Xi, Rho, Omicron, Pi, Rho, Sigma, Tau, Upsilon, Phi, Chi, Psi, Omega. Thank you.
I do remember that. Okay, should we move it?
Yeah, smile.
We got to move it. Yeah, for dessert.
We needed a minus.
Yeah, take it out. Sure, I saw that.
We're going to get to the pick that. I hope so.
I just want to tell everybody that I'm really glad to be here. I actually have not had much contact with almost anybody except for Sweetmates. We've got a couple of reunions over the years. And as those of you who tried to and did organize this thing, no, I didn't stay in touch with you at all during the organizing time. And actually, I don't really check my email very much. So it's been about 3 weeks since I looked. And yesterday, for a totally different reason, I looked at my email and I saw this dozens and dozens of emails about this event. And I live in Western North Carolina. It's about a 14-hour drive from here. So this was 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I had no thought of coming to this thing at all. I was just blown away by the response, by the number of people who seemed to be putting in bios, asking me if I was coming, asking me where the hell I was. And I just said, fuck it, I am going to have to do it. I put life on hold yesterday between about 3 and 10 o'clock, and I took off from Asheville and pulled in here about 1 o'clock this
There you
afternoon.
go.
It will definitely be one of the best decisions I ever made. I would have kicked myself if I wasn't here with you guys today. Thanks.
All right, this place has dress code, so I'm going to tell you another story.
Bob just reminded me of something that happened about 35 years ago to me. And talking about a dress code. I was working in Boston in the early 70s. I was doing some anti-war work. I worked with an organization that did counseling for GIs. And a friend of ours who had gone to Harvard and wrote a book about the connection between the military and the government and the influence of the military and the government. And Simon & Schuster published the book. It's called West Point. And he came to Boston. Simon & Schuster took him around on a speaking tour. And our little church basement that we were working in was on Arlington Street in downtown Boston, Arlington Street Church, which had a long history of involvement in civil rights. And anyway, Bob took us to the what's the name? I can't remember. Really fancy restaurant right there at Boston Gardens. Well, it's like that. It's a real high-end restaurant hotel. I didn't have anything to wear except what I was counseling people in, which was basically an army fatigue jacket with a big orange peace sign on the back and jeans. And so we walked over to the hotel and and it was big. People were sitting around this ballroom dancing floor, eating dinner, and the major D comes up to me and says, "You can't come in here dressed like that. You don't need our code." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "You can't wear sneakers in here." I said, "Okay," and I thought we maybe would have to but Bob had some shoes that he had brought with him, and so he went up to his room in the hotel, and he got me a pair of shoes, and but they were bowling shoes, and and they had been left out in the rain the night before. So I took off my sneakers and threw them over my shoulder, put on the bowling shoes, and walked up to the maitre d' and I said, "How am I?" And he said, "You're fine." So I squeaked in across this ballroom floor with these wet bowling shoes, and we had a wonderful dinner. And Simon Schuster kicked in about $400 or $500 for 6 of the seat dinner 35 years ago.
Okay, well, if there's somebody else who wants to speak.